In this video, we're going to take a look at just running a Microsoft Teams meeting from a teacher's view or teacher's perspective, and just talk about some different type of options that you might want to look out for and some different type of buttons. And there's a lot of different ways, but this is just some of the things to look out for. Okay, the first thing that you want to do is to make sure that you locate your meeting in your calendar, and you can click on Join to join your meeting or start to open up your meeting. A couple of things to also double check again is to take a look at your camera. So if you turn your camera on to make sure it's working properly. There's also some different type of background filters that you can choose, like blurring your background or different backgrounds in general. And I'm going to turn my camera off. The other thing to take a look at is to make sure that your computer audio is working properly. And there's also an internal mic and speakers, so your mic is turned on so that your students will be able to hear you. There's also a way that you can go through and change it to an external microphone, so that's what I'm using right here. But for the most part, I'm just going to put it back in to the built-in microphone. Make sure those items are selected there, and then click on Join Now. After I click on Join Now, I'm going to start my meeting. And if you remember that we did choose that option that only I can bypass the lobby. So here you see that Chris is actually logged in and ready to come into my meeting, but I'm not quite ready to start my meeting right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through and just kind of double check some things to make sure that I'm ready to go. So up at the very top you can see that show participants. So again, these will be the people that he is already logged in and waiting in the lobby. Of course, I can click on the check mark to admit him. Remember that I invited Kelly, and that she hasn't joined the meeting quite yet, so I want to kind of let you see what that looks like when she comes into the meeting. And then all my other students will be able to go through when I'm able to admit them. All right, so the other thing to do is that's kind of where the showing the participants list. This is also a good list to keep open. There's a neat way that you can get, as all your students come in, when they start to join, you can download an attendance list, so you can keep track of their attendance for attending your class. So that's pretty handy as well. Over on the right hand side to that is the show conversation. So here again, these are all the conversations about what's taken place in this one meeting and kind of a chat history. There's also students have the capability to raise their hand. So here I'm raising my hand, and they're going to be able to lower it if they want to ask a question. There's also, as the instructor, I can take the students and put them out into breakout rooms or individual groups to go through and kind of discuss, and then come back and use that as a way to summarize their learning and get them to share as far as the whole group, and breaking them out into different groups or breakout rooms. To the right of that, you'll see some more actions, and just to take a look at that, if you'll click on, I'm going to click on More Actions, and when I click on More Actions, troubleshooting issues that might pop up. This is where your device settings are that we kind of looked at earlier about sound. Some of the core meeting options that we did from the very start, the way to go through and kind of monitor that. And then there's some changing the layout of the view with the gallery. The other thing to kind of make note is this is where you would start your recording. So if you wanted to capture your lesson as far as presentation or different parts of your lesson or the full-blown class, you could go through and click on Start Recording to capture the whole class. So that's kind of helpful in looking at that. Just to the right of that is, of course, this is my video. So again, only I can see this. But that's kind of way to quickly turn my camera on. My microphone is enabled now, and then to the right of that, this is where the Share Content button is. So you can see that when I click on Share Content, got a couple different views right here that you can kind of experiment with. For our purposes today, I'm just choosing the content only to show content on the full screen, but they do have some different type of layout options where I can put my picture to the side of my content. So, but at the most part, just a personal preference, I like my content to be right in the front and just very large so the students can be able to see it. If you have any type of PowerPoint slides or Office 365 products, you can go through and share that a little bit cleaner to your class. Before that, I've got different type of open windows here. So during this biology lesson, I've got the window that I currently have open now, the background window here, which is my calendar and Microsoft Teams. And then like throughout the lesson, I might show some YouTube videos, biology videos. And one thing to kind of make note here is you're going through and streaming some of your videos, there is a button here to include your computer sound. So this is something to watch out for, that to make sure that that switch is turned on to include your computer sound if you're streaming any type of videos to your attendees. And so the Mount Pleasant High homepage is located right here. So let's kind of take a look. I think I've got everything ready to go, and we'll kind of go through and start to admit some of the students and have other students join as well. So you can see that Christopher is waiting into the lobby, and I'm going to verify, and I'm going to admit him. And then also on Kelly's computer, I'm going to join it. Okay, so this is what it looks like when students kind of start to arrive into the meeting here. So I can kind of view that. I can select her like I did Chris, and then I can also or just click admit right here. So I'm going to click on admit. And I'm going to mute that so it doesn't feed back. And here you can see that my running list is right here. So this would be a good time as students start to come in and everybody is present. Up at the very top in the More Actions buttons here, go ahead and get a download your attendance list. So it'll go through and kind of give you a snapshot of all the students that have attended your class. So that's pretty neat there. The other thing is that we talked about the participants in general. I can disable the mic for all attendees all at once. Remember that we're allowing their mic to be turned on because we do want to hear them. We can also disable their camera for all attendees. So that's pretty helpful as well, as far as kind of helping with bandwidth. So just like this for all participants, you probably notice that over here with individually, you can make some change settings here for each individual user. If I want to disable Chris's microphone, I could disable his mic, I could disable his camera, and there's some other features here that I could pin if I'm working with students and just kind of changing the views here. So that's something to look at too. So those are kind of the individual settings in working with working with the students. So let's take a look at, I'm ready to kind of go through. I've got my students attended in class, kind of go through. At this point I could turn on my camera and welcome them. I could also kind of go right into my presentation or share content, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to click on share content, and then remember I'm going to go to one of my open windows. It's kind of a personal preference. I could jump right to my YouTube video, or I could take a look at the show them something on the Mount Pleasant High homepage. So when I click on this, what I wanted to show you is that it kind of goes away. I did have this window open, which is my calendar, and I do have YouTube open, and the window that I'm showing currently right now, you notice that there's this red border, and then the red border indicates that this is the screen that they're actually seeing. So they do see my full screen. They don't see this view at all as far as what's in their view. They just actually see whatever is highlighted in red. So down at the very bottom, I could turn my camera on at this time to show the content along with my face. There's also my microphone is unmuted in Teams. I'm using another application to record this. And then also if I want to stop sharing at this point, and I'm done with my browser, I could click on stop sharing. and then it would bring me right back to this screen. So that's a little bit about it, and most of the features here is kind of go through, and you'll kind of get into a hang of it if you're brand new to Microsoft Teams, and just kind of get into a rhythm. So I'm pretty much kind of got my attendance taken care of. I went through and did kind of showed you a little bit about sharing content or sharing screens, and at the very end I'm ready to end my meeting, and this will kick everybody off. When I'm ready to end the meeting, I'm going to be sure and click on End Meeting, and it'll say end the meeting. You'll end the meeting for everyone, and that's what I'm ready to do. So I'm ready to end this meeting when I click on End. Alright, the meeting goes away, and let me go back to Microsoft Teams, just to that view. Okay, and then that's pretty much about it. So good luck with running a Microsoft Teams meeting, and best of luck. Thanks for watching.